What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full Pokemon Beam Moves team. These are not baked beans, people. This is moves like Ice Beam, Bubble Beam, and Charge Beam. Now, the suggestion had all of them on there. I included all of the moves in the team, and these battles are absolute pearlers, so you've got to stick around for this whole video. Leave those teams, as usual, people, in the comment section. Any feedback on the video would be wonderful. Now, I do have a little Easter egg in the bloopers. You've got to check that one out too. But let's get to this video, and people, there's nothing wrong with a pair of high beams. Anyway, so this was a battle on my chat. If you people want to battle me, I'm on there every day at a random time accepting battles. So this was a battle against Driveberg. I hope I said your username right. And man, these were two really long battles. Insert meme. So now we have a Golduck lead, which is going to go for the Hone Claw. So it's a physical set, or it's just trying to boost us actually with a move as well. Or it could be like just both having like, I'd say cross chop. That worked really nicely with Hone Claw's Golduck. Anyway, so on this set, I've got a rather interesting one. So, of course, all the attacking moves had to have Beam in them. However, I had some status moves to help me along the way too of this challenge. So going for the Solar Beam with a Power Herb, that was the strategy for this. However, I had Hyper Beam on as well. Now, since it had access to Camouflage, I could change myself into a normal type with Camouflage, then go for the Stab Hyper Beam afterwards, so I can make use of Hyper Beam with Stab too. Alright, so Ampharos is going to go for the Hidden Power, which was definitely going to be super effective against me. I say it could have been like, I don't know, like fire or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Anyway, so going for the Hyper Beam, and this does some really nice damage to Ampharos. I actually get a critical hit with that one, almost taking it out. So absolutely wonderful start there. Focus miss. Well, it misses people, and I'm still alive. I'm still standing. So Ampharos has got the leftovers, which is fine. I know I can just revenge kill it anyway. I got to recharge because of the Hyper Beam. Unfortunately, Focus miss actually lands this time, and Ampharos is going to be able to take Leaveney out. But that's cool. I was quite happy with that start. I buried Golduck, and I did a big chunk of damage to Ampharos. It's very bulky in special defense. Obviously, all these moves are special as well, which made things difficult to this bulky special defense Pokemon. Anyway, so I've got a Master. Let me run you over this set. So I've got on this, it gets Aurora Beam, Bubble Beam, and Ice Beam. I've got max special attack, max speed, and I've also got Rain Dance with Swift Swim. So I've got the Waterium Z for Bubble Beam on it. And did I just get a crit on Bubble Beam? Anyway, so Ampharos goes down to a Bubble Beam, which is nice. Now we have Alolan Executor. I've got Aurora Beam and Ice Beam, so I thought this is pretty good. I just went for the Ice Beam there, and this is definitely not going to be able to live that one. Damn, that just got Ice Beamed in the balls. Anyway, I can't actually locate his balls looking at the screen. Anyways, so that one's down, so a pretty good start. Now we have Pyukumuku. This is where the battle started to get a little bit slow, because like none of the moves really, like apart from Solar Beam and things like that, this thing was not going to go down easy. So I've got my Volbeat where it actually has Charge Beam on it. Anyway, so it's going to go for a Toxic. I never saw that one coming. So I've got on this set, I've got Signal Beam, Charge Beam, Solar Beam, and Tail Glow. Tail Glow gives it a really nice boost, drastic boost in its special attack. I've got the Swarm ability to power up Signal Beam, and I've got Occa Berry on as well in case I get hit by a Fire type. Okay, so I knew that I wasn't going to do a lot of damage to this thing, but I thought I might be able to get a Tail Glow up thing, maybe a couple against this thing, because of course it's a very stally Pokemon. It really can't do any damage. You can just go for a Toxic, a Soak, and counter and recover. That's really always that set really, because it's just got a very limited move pool. Anyways, I wanted to do a good hit of damage to it, and then maybe just revenge kill it with another Pokemon in my party. The problem was I already burnt up Leaveney at the start with Solar Beam, so I really had to, get rid of this thing. And the problem was that obviously it had Recover too, which made things even harder. So, like something else. Anyway, so I'm going to get soaked by the Pyukumuku, turning me into the Water type. Now, I was thinking, the only good thing about versing Pyukumuku, you can only do a certain amount of things, and it's not doing any damage to it, so it is prone to setup. It also has I know that it's probably got the in and out ability. I was hoping it didn't have the other ability, Unaware, because that wouldn't be any good. I was about to find out if it actually had that anyways. So it's going to keep going for Recover and stalling me out, which, that's, I never really saw that one coming. But there's nothing I can do at the moment. So I've got all my Tail Glows up. I've got actually +6 in special attack now. They're actually going to withdraw their Pyukumuku and go into a Dusknoir, so like another bulky Pokemon, because this is going to be difficult. These are two very difficult Pokemon to get past. Okay, so it's going to have Frisk, and it's going to see my Occa Berry. Not that it's really going to matter at all, because I'm going down the next turn. And the Charge Beam does absolutely nothing to Dusknoir, unfortunately. So that's a problem. So it's also got the leftovers as well, and my Volbeat's going to go down. So that sucks. But I've got a couple more. Did have a good idea against this, but I wasn't sure if I should bring it in at the moment. I decided to opt against that and go into my Knockdown. Now, Knockdown has Hyper Beam, and that's all I had on this set. I had the Tinted Lens, and with the red card, Max Health, Max Special Attack, and also had Foresight on there. So that's why I swapped it into the Ghost. I was going to go for the Foresight and then go for the Hyper Beam. Anyway, so I identified this little annoying cucumber. There's not much I can do, just go for the Hyper Beam. So I didn't really want to get locked into. I thought, well, it's just going to go for a Toxic anyway. So swapping a Behemoth, I really like this set. It's actually quite similar to my Xatu set. Let me run you through this one. So this is a Behemoth. I bet you never knew that one. So I've got Skill Swap on this. I've got Simple Beam. So giving them the simple ability, skill swapping them. So I actually found out its ability too. That was a nice thing to know. And I could skill swap the ability, giving myself Simple. I've got Max Health, Max Special Attack. I've got the Wiki Berry on this too. And I've got Nasty Pot. So once I've got the simple ability, I can go for Nasty Pot. And instead of getting a +2, I get a +4. And I gave it Psybeam. This thing was hitting really hard. Okay, so we have Dusknoir coming in here, and it's going to frisk out my Wiki Berry, which is fine. I'm going to go for Skill Swap. So unfortunately, it wasn't able to work here because I had a swap. However, I did get it to work in my next couple of battles, so definitely stick around for that one. So swapping the abilities, I've got Frisk now. I already knew that it had leftovers, so that's cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I really wanted to get that simple and skill swap combo happening. Then I would have got a nasty plot, and Psybeam hits really, really hard. Even though it's a weak base power, just that initial boost with nasty plot with simple was huge. Anyway, so we have the Dusknoir going for Shadow Sneak here. I'm going to go for nasty plot. I knew that I already had the Wiki Berry there in already back up, so I knew that I get some toxic damage. The berry would kick in. I get enough health to live the next Shadow Sneak, and then fire a Psybeam off it. Even though it's not going to be at its max power, it's only at, I'm a 69 health. I'm going for the just the +2 Psybeam. Okay, so anyways, eating my berry and getting lots of health back. I knew this was my last turn. I was going to attack and get attacked, then go down to the poison. Okay, so Dusknoir's going to go for the Shadow Sneak here. Now, once again, I did have a good counter to this. I just didn't want to quite bring it in at the moment. It was quite... I was a little bit premature in the battle to bring it in. So going for the Psybeam does a critical hit. I'm like, damn, that takes it down. Like, I was so happy with that crit. Definitely, that one actually mattered. Taking away the sarcasm this time, that one actually mattered. So I live on 5 health, and we have the Flareon coming in. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I've got a good Pokemon to swap into this. It's going to go for the Quick Attack. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. It's got priority, but I was more thinking about one of the Pokemon I had in the back. Oh, that'll become more clear as the battle goes on. So, bringing in Knockdown now, I can go for the Hyper Beams freely since the Dusknoir is now gone. It's going to go for Quick Attack again. Now, I found that a strange play. Like, why would they go for a Quick Attack instead of going for, Flare Blitz? So, that's telling me that's probably Choice Scarfed or Choice Banded. I'm just thinking more towards Choice Band. Anyway, so going for the Hyper Beam on the swap, had Red Card, which activates on the Flareon, which probably isn't too good for me because it is Choice, so that kind of helped it out. Anyway, so Pimpnite takes that Hyper Beam. After the left-handed recovery, it's going to be a 2-hit KO. And I'm going to be on recharge, so it's going to be a 3-hit KO, which sucks. However, it's going to be able to go for the Toxic here. Now, I was actually running out of options at this point in the game. So, Omastar could not take it out, right? Knockdown could not take it out. Only one Pokemon had the ability to take this out. And it was situational, and everything had to go my way for me to even have a chance. So I thought, I don't want to swap into it. I don't want to take any damage at all. I have to sack my Noctowl, just keep going for the Hyper Beams and hoping, hoping I can get the kill. And it lives on 1 health. I'm like, what the so salty. And it gets the recover off on the 1 health. Oh, those t-shirts, babies, they're coming soon. Don't you worry about that. It's coming, baby. Anyway, I'm going to hold off on the jokes. Anyway, so the toxic damage is starting to rack up, and Knockdown cannot do anything. I'm on recharge. It's just going to keep spamming recover. There's absolutely nothing I can do here. So I've got my, as you know, the other Pokemon I've got. You could probably guess what the Pokemon I've got in the back is. I'll let you know now because it's my Smeargle. So Smeargle can. I wanted to use Moongeese Beam, right? That was the move I wanted to use. So I didn't obviously want to use Lunala because that would make it an Uber's battle and I'd never be able to win. So anyways, just waiting for my Knockdown to go down here while the Pimpnite just keeps healing up. There's no point swapping into that either because I didn't want to get a Toxic on the Smeargle, right? Because I had an item, my Focus Sash on there that I didn't want to quite get burnt up at the moment. So Noctowl was going to go down the next turn, which is fine. It did its work, I guess, and this is just going to keep spamming recover. So this thing was an absolute royal pain in the ass. Anyway, so let's get into my Smeagol. Now, this Smeagol was... I've run this Smeagol a couple of times. A lot of variations of it, but it's the same thing in general. So this is my conversion Smeagol, which is going to convert me into a Ghost type from Moongeese Beam. I've got Spore on this, I've got Focus Sash, Max Special Attack, Max Speed with Timid Nature, and I've got Tail Glow. So the idea was to get Tail Glows up, as many as possible, and turn myself into a Ghost type to get stabbed, and then go for the Moongeese Beam. Alright, so Pyukumuku's going to swap out there instantly, and the Flareon's going to come in. This is where things are really good, right? I was thinking, if Flareon goes for a Quick Attack, right, I can go for the conversion, and then it's going to be locked into Quick Attack and be forced to swap, which is really good. However, they do not go for a Quick Attack. Unfortunately, I'm going to go into the Ghost type. It's going to go for Flare Blitz. I'm like, that's actually not too bad a result, because I know that it's Scarf, right? I know that it's Scarf, and I'm going to be a Ghost type, so Quick Attack is never going to affect me, and it was a good recoil damage too. So since I've got the +3 in Special Attack, things are really good. I know that that's enough damage now for me to actually take it out. However, the Flareon is going to swap out. Pyukumuku is going to come in. I went for the Moongeese Beam. I couldn't play any games. I had to go for that. Oh my god, look at this, people. And it's going to go for that Moongeese Beam, doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's still a 3-hit KO against Pyukumuku. This thing is so bulky in special defense and health, and it's basically Smeagol's special attack is just arse, so it made things rather difficult. Alright, so not wasting any time, people. Go for another Moongeese Beam, trying to take this thing out. Oh, and it leaves it, wakes up and goes for recover again. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. Okay, so here I was thinking, well, it could have gone for Toxic and taken me out. However, that's not too bad. I can go for Spore again, put it to sleep, and go for another Tail Glow and try and take it out. I had to get another Tail Glow up. I know that Flareon can sometimes be very bulky in special defense. Even its just base special defense is actually decent. So I wasn't sure, I wasn't sure about that one either. And I know they had O'Master to take it out, right? That was basically a win-win there. However, this Pyukumuku was a problem. And I really needed another one to actually just take this thing out. So going for a second Tail Glow, instead of attacking, I thought, bugger it, let's do it. Let's get +6 in special attack with the conversion up and the Moongeese Beam. Thank God it stays asleep. Like, yes, this is really good. This is my chance. So now it's going to get the little bit of extra leftovers recovery. Now I'm going to go for the Stab Moongeese Beam. Flareon cannot swap into this. There's no way it's going to live. And I get this one off going for my... this is the third time I've hit this stupid little pink cucumber. And it lives again and it wakes up and gets the Toxic off. No! Oh, no! So Smeagol is going to go down to the Toxic. Oh, that was... I was so close. And it gets the freaking another leftover recovery. So all I've got left is my Master, which has no moves that are special, super effective against it. It's got Aurora Beam, Ice Beam, Bubble Beam, and Rain Dance, which sucks. So anyway, I had one last roll of the dice here, people. There was only one option to go for. It was to go for the Z, or the Waterium Z Bubble Beam. So I was hoping this would actually kill, because it was, even with the modest nature, I was worried. Okay, anyway, so doing my little Macarena, going for the Waterium Z Bubble Beam. I wanted to get that Disrespect Bubble Beam kill, but I thought it's not going to kill. I've got to go for the Z move for the extra power. Anyway, so trying to take out the Pyukumuku, and that was probably just enough to take it out, which was good. Phew, okay, so that's down. So, but Smeagol really did, he put in an absolute champion of work there. There's no way I would have been able to get through that without getting all those Tail Glows up. It just worked so well. Anyway, the last Pokemon is the Flareon. Now, I wasn't sure if this had access to Superpower. I knew that wouldn't be enough to take me out. However, it doesn't have anything to hit me. I actually wall it very, very well. Flareon versus O'Master is not a good matchup for Flareon. I'm going to resist that absolutely heavily. I actually get burned by the Flare Blitz, which sucks there. Going for the Rain Dance this turn, which is going to activate Swift Swim, making me, powering up my Water-type moves and making me fast ×2. So now I can go for the Bubble Beam in the rain, which is going to be super powerful, people, and that's going to be enough to take out the Flareon. Even Water Gun would have been enough to take it out, because of the modest nature and in the rain, that was really, really powerful. So I got that Bubble Beam Disrespect kill at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Man, that was a really good battle. It was just the ebbs and the flows of the battle. I got to show off all my sets mainly there too. Okay, next battle we have against Mano Steel on my chat. Going off with the same lead as well with the Levany. So we have a shield on lead, which is cool. I was guessing this might be like a Stealth Rocks. I was thinking Stealth Rocks, Metal Burst, those kind of moves. Anyways, so I thought, let's go for Solar Beam. At least just break it sturdy. I might as well just burn this straight away. And I can think what I should do after that. So going for the Power Herb Solar Beam on the... I thought, well, it could be, could be Everlight too. So I actually get a critical hit then, which is doing a lot of damage. And that's going to go for the Toxic. So that's fine. I've got the Toxic there. It did pretty good damage. I thought I could go for Camouflage and just Hyper Beam this thing, try and take it out. And then it's... After using a Solar Beam, it's pretty much done. I mean, you can go for the Camouflage, but once you use Hyper Beam, it's pretty much over. You can just... Anything can just swap in and take you out. I actually had a similar set to this where I used Camouflage and Facade with a physical set with holding the Toxic Orb. It worked really nicely. I love Camouflage. It opens up possibilities for the the Pokemon with normal type moves. Anyway, so it's going to be a Toxic stalling set with Protect. Now I'm going to Camouflage myself into the normal type. Here I went for the Hyper Beam. Unfortunately, it's going to be able to block that one, even if I get through the Confusion, and that sucks. So I was thinking, there's probably not much point me staying into this, into this matchup here. It's probably going to have some sort of stalling move, and I'm not going to be able to take it out with Hyper Beam the next turn. So I'm going to leave it for a little bit later in the game. I might have some more use for it. So swapping in my Master now, I know that I can take this thing out with the Bubble Beam. Metal Burst there was obviously it's going to be its go-to attack. Going for Bubble Beam. That's going to be enough to take it out for the that's super effective damage, people. Bubble Beam is just great. You actually can bring Pokemon over from Gen 1 with Bubble Beam too. Okay, anyway, so we have the Lurantis coming out. Nothing like a bit of candy. Now, this one is going to be a big problem for a Master. I cannot swap into that. I'm going to go down to like a friggin' Leafage. So bringing in Levany to tank out the Leaf, not the Leafage, the Grass type move. Now we're going to have the Lurantis going for a Z move, which is going to be the Z Sunny Day, boosting its speed and putting the sun on the field too. So straight away, as soon as I seen that, I thought, okay, it's going to go for a Weather Ball. But there wasn't much I could really swap into it anyway. So I thought Levany pretty much did its job anyway. It's already poisoned. I mean, I've got to go for a Camouflage and a Hyper Beam. It's dead weight at this point in the game, so I'm not going to swap anything into this at all. And it was yet to be determined whether it had Leaf Storm and Contrary too, which would be very, very bad. So anyway, so Levany's going to go down. I've got a Master. I cannot swap that one in at all. And I've got Noctowl. So I thought Noctowl is the go-to Pokemon here because it can resist those grass moves and it can take a Weather Ball rather nicely. So obviously it's going to go for a Weather Ball. That was obviously the best attack I could do against it. Since I'm bulky, it's actually going to do just under half. I get a red card right, people, on the Lurantis. It's going to automatically swap it in. This was a huge play here. Zangoose comes in. I get the Hyper Beam off on. I was like, this is a really, really good Pokemon to bury because it's very, very scary with Toxic Boost and can sweep the whole team. I one-shot it with that. I was so happy. I was like, yes, that red card combo works so well. Red card can be an interesting item. It can really put you in a very good place like that, or it can just put you in a really crappy place, like a direct counter can come out and then you got to swap. It's terrible. Anyway, so we have Quagsire using a stockpile. I'm like, oh, here we go. However, remember that Behemoth from the first battle and that Xatu that I used before, that same combo? I thought, yes, this is perfect. I can get rid of Unaware and try and get some shenanigans happening. So the Quagsire is going to go for another stockpile. Now, the thing about stockpile, right, they can only use it 3 times. So that was the weakness of that, that bulk. And I thought I could be able to get around that with some nasty plots and hit it for some, some powerful moves. So firstly, I had to get the Simple Beam up and change Quagsire's ability, which I thought was Unaware, which was good. That was going to nullify all my stat boost, so I had to get rid of that straight away. Anyway, so Quagsire is going to go for the Skull, trying to get a burn on my Behemoth. There wasn't any, I guess there was no way to know whether I had a Bury or not, or Recover. Okay, so going for Skill Swap, giving it Telepathy, and giving myself Simple. So now I've got Simple, things are going to become simple. So now I could go for the Nasty Plot, give myself an Insta Plus forward, start attacking. So I actually get burned by the Scald on the second turn, which is fine. I guess it's not... It kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. I know that I can tank at least another Scald from the Quagsire, and that'll put me in range to activate my berry. So going for a Nasty Plot, since it's already got 2 stockpiles up, it's only going to be light using a normal Nasty Plot, but that's fine. I thought I could at least get some damage on this thing. So now it's going to go for the Scald on the Behemoth, and that's going to be a little bit of damage with the burn as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite kick my berry in, so I was like, damn, this sucks. Anyway, so going for the Side Beam, so I thought I could go for another Nasty Plot. Didn't want to risk the actual critical hit there, so I thought I'd go for damage over another boost. However, I actually do live that one. I get my berry, and that's going to give me a lot of health back. So that's cool. This is going to free me up to actually use another Nasty Plot. However, they could swap here, but I thought, I thought bugger, it's worth the risk. I want to see if I can get this up. Anyway, so going for another nasty pot. I'm now at +6 easily after using that. So that's cool. So, well, I'm at +4 against the Quagsire because it has 2 stockpiles up. But I thought that'd be more than enough to actually take it out. So now the Quagsire's going to continue going for the Scald, trying to take me out. I'm most definitely going to go down the next turn to the Scald and the burn damage. So I really got to take this thing out now. So going for the Mighty Psybeam on the Quagsire, and that is going to be way too much for it to handle. And we all know that crit mattered. So that's down. That was really cool. I was glad I could get rid of the Unaware and give myself all those special attack boosts. It's a very situational set, I know that, but it's going to work against a Pokemon that can't do a lot of damage, or stally Pokemon, and that you've got time to set up on it. And Behemoth is actually surprisingly bulky. That was a max health, max special attack set. Anyway, so Lurantis is going to come and use the Leaf Storm, and yeah, shit just got real. I got to take this thing out. So Behemoth did an absolutely wonderful job taking Quagsire. That was cool. So once again, Noctowl is the go-to Pokemon here. I can go for the Hyper Beam. I know that I can leave a Leaf Storm if it's going to actually use it, and it's going to go for the Sunny Day. So it needs that Weather Ball to actually land a decent attack against me. So I can go for the Hyper Beam here. Hyper Beam lands. Thank God. I was really worried that was going to miss, and does really big damage to the Lurantis. Just missing the kill, unfortunately, and the Lurantis can go for the Weather Ball. Since it has that boost from the Leaf Storm, it's going to hit really, really hard, and there's no way I'm going to be able to lift that one. However, Noctowl did a great job there doing some real solid damage. Now, as you know, I've got the Smeagol that has a Focus Sash. So Smeagol is my saving grace here. All my other Pokemon are going to get wrecked by this thing. I have to, I had that Focus Sash. If I didn't have the Focus Sash, that was game. However, I actually outspeed it. Go for the Moongeese Beam. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to outspeed it, so I had to attack there and take out the Lurantis. That was really good. I actually intact my Focus Sash. Okay. So things are going a real tight battle at the moment. Oh, like something else. So now we have the Trevenant coming out. This is good but bad at the same time. So I don't want to convert myself into Ghost type. That could be really bad because then I'm going to be prone to Ghost type moves, right? Anyway, so getting Tail Glow. Trevenant goes for a Destiny Bond. I'm like, damn, son, it wants to actually take me out. It's scared of this Moongeese Smeagol. Anyway, so I thought, let's go for Moongeese Beam. Let's see how much this does without stab. Bugger it. Let's do it. I love using Moongeese Beam with Smeagol. It looks so funny. So it does really big damage. If I was actually a Ghost type, that would have one-shot it. Now, it's got a Citrus Berry with Harvest. Thinking here I could go over to Ghost type. I didn't want to, though. This is the problem, right? I didn't want to go for the Ghost type move because if I went for the Tail Glow again, it could hit me, then finish me off with priority. And it's got Trick Room up too, so things are really not going to suit my Smeagol. Anyway, so it's going to go for a Destiny Bond again. So it's got Destiny Bond. It's got Trick Room. I wasn't sure if it's other moves. Like a lot of the time it runs like, Phantom Force, Horn Leech, Willow Mist, those kind of moves. Anyway, so not playing any games, I took out the Trevenant, and that's cool. I just couldn't. I just didn't think I'd have enough, power in the Aurora Beam or Ice Beam to take it out with my Master. And if it had Horn Leech, I was gone. So I didn't have too many options there. I just had to go for it. And plus, it was their second last Pokemon too. Anyway. So the last Pokemon is the Shiny Aggron. I've got the Volbeat. Now, the Volbeat really can't touch this one at all. As I said, the best move it probably can do against it is the Signal Beam or the Solar Beam, but I don't have a Power Herb on this, so I had to wait another turn. Anyway, so I thought, well, let's break that sturdy if it does have it, and let's see if we can get a Scummy Confusion on. There's a 10% chance on Signal Beam. Anyway, so Aggron's going to go... I think it went for the Rock Polish there, boosting its speed, so it's going to try and outspeed me after the Trick Room is done. So I get a critical hit there. Stone Edge misses. I'm like, whew, that was lucky. That would have definitely one-shotted me. Going for the Signal Beam again. I actually got a crit before, which did some nice damage. And this time, I actually get a Confusion, which is really nice. So if the Aggron hits itself in Confusion, this is going to be, really, really good for me. Anyways, so Aggron is going to hit itself in Confusion. Doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage to itself. Now, the Twisted Dimensions turn to normal. So Aggron is going to be able to outspeed me now since it got that Rock Polish up a couple of turns ago. Gets through the Confusion, lands the Stone Edge on my Volbeat. There's no way I'm going to be able to live that one. So the last Pokemon I've got left is my Master. Now, I know that this can carry Earthquake. It commonly does. However, I'm running a sweeping set. It's not bulky. I was really worried about a critical hit here. Aggron is going to go for the Earthquake, obviously. That's the only move it goes for against this. However, it hits itself in Confusion, and I'm going to go for that Disrespect Bubble Beam to finish it off. It would have needed a critical hit with the Earthquake, even if it got through to actually finish me off. But two really good battles. People, I hope you enjoyed these. They were really fun. Watch those bloopers. There's a fun little Easter egg in there. Kath did some editing in my bloopers. Peace. Have a good day, peeps.
like this. Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!